Okay, guys, welcome to another episode of Bold and Brown.
Yes, bold and brown. He's got it right this time. Getting there.
Not Beauty and the Beast. Not Bold and Beautiful. Otherwise, we can call that the podcast as well.
So, ladies and gents, today we're going to be talking about a topic which is very common, I guess, in the life of work, business, family, and it's a very common question. And that question is,
Does a balanced life really exist? Balanced life. Now, first and foremost, what is a balanced life? Having a balance, it is what it says. Having a balance in different areas and different areas of your life. What will be the most common areas of life is going to be, health, family, business/job, spirituality or religion, whichever. You might be atheist, fine, but maybe there's, I don't know, a different area. I mean, those are the common areas. Any other areas I've missed?
yeah, I think that's really the popular ones, because people do look at, okay, do they focus on their career or their work? Especially if you're a woman, it's then like, do you choose between your career and your family, raising the kids? And then you also want to maintain that social life as well. After marriage, maybe for a lot of people, you feel like maybe that social element kind of goes down, and that's very natural. It's just a phase of life. So I think, yeah, with work-life balance and a balanced life per se, you're covering all aspects which are important to you in your life.
Just missed out the kids as well, children.
Family.
Covered up family time, and then you're right, your social aspect as well. And socializing could be a number of things. Could be gym, which could be health and social as well, I suppose. Or it could be a sport. It could be a hobby. It could be you like to go clubbing. I'm sitting next to a clubber right now. Ex-clubber. Me, I was clubbing twice a week, I think for almost a 10-year period. Can you
About the
believe it?
same.
Yeah, maybe not 10 years, but
It's the uni days, isn't it?
yeah,
It's
twice a
like-
week. Bhangra night, R&B Bhangra night. Oh my God, hell yes.
I was a garage girl. Garage, drum and bass, all the way.
R&B is more, it's more artistic, has words. You understand?
Sure.
Anyway, so yes, a balance in all these things. So that's what having a balanced life is. And I'm going to share something with you, which I remember was that she said in a network marketing company, and they said having a balanced life is a middle class myth. I'll never forget that, a middle class myth. It's quite I mean, it's a bit, it's not the nicest thing to say. I mean, I think it makes a very good point that if you think, or if we think that we can kind of give all areas equal amount of time and be very successful or succeed in all areas. And success is very, very, what success is to somebody may not be to somebody else. So yes, success is subjective. I agree. But generally speaking, to excel in all areas and give all equal amount of time, that can't be done. That's what it means. Having a balanced life is a middle class myth. So I don't know what you think about that.
Yeah, no, I agree to that to some extent. And if you think about all the phases in your life, right, you can't do everything at the same time. Like, for example, I know that when I got married and before having children, man, we were like out until 3-4 o'clock in the morning. Sometimes it was literally 7 days a week. We were working, grinding, meeting people, traveling, literally building, our organization, our business around the world. And it was just non-stop. I missed out on a lot of social events. We both did birthdays or, weddings, as long as they're not so close. And we had to make a choice. But then when having the children, all of that stopped for me. And is it the case that, I need to balance it? I still need to run around the way I did in my business. I still need to travel around. No, I had to park that aside temporarily. And I had to focus on then what was my priority at the time. And that was raising the children, being with the children, being there whilst they were still young and growing. So I think with having a balanced life, that myth of can you have it all? I believe you can eventually. But it depends where you are in your life, where you are in your business or your career or whatever your goal is. You have to really kind of prioritize what's more important. And I believe the balance comes later. What do you think?
That's right. I mean, I think that there is going to be a time in your life where it can't be balanced. I mean, I was listening to Kevin O'Leary, and I remember he said something in an interview, CEO, if you watch that podcast, really good podcast, by the way. and I've seen it a few times now. And he said on that podcast is that for the first 10 years, he goes, if you're trying to be successful, the children are not going to know who you are. He goes, his children didn't know who they were almost. He was out making it happen. Obviously, he's one of the most successful businesses bands in the world, worked with Steve Jobs, partnered with Steve Jobs almost. So we're talking about not having an imbalanced life forever. But there's going to be a certain time period. I remember when, starting the business, yes, it always came first. Everything else was sacrificed. But I remember when I was what we call a police station rep, I wasn't a qualified solicitor. And I represent detainees at police station. And I never forget that there was a period, and I had to write to different law firms to say that I can do work. I'm available 24 hours a day. I had that on the website. I'm available 24 hours a day. And I kept on emailing firms. I was meeting, owners of firms. I was going to see them to hand them my CV. It's like 10 years ago. And I would send 10 emails out a day. I remember just relentlessly, I can do work, I can do work. And there was a firm who said, come in for an interview. I went there and they had a lot of clientele, but they needed me to travel around parts of the country. Wasn't married, didn't have any children. And that year I made over six figures. And I'd never made over six figures. I was in my 20s and how did I feel? But making six figures in my 20s. But I tell you what, I had 18-hour days. That car, first and foremost, let me tell you that car, Mercedes CLS, the classic shape. I got that car at 90,000 something miles. I sold that car at 240,000 miles in the space of 2 years. So I had done a lot of mileage. It was very unbalanced, but that's what I had to do to make it happen. And when you earn six figures, your belief grows that you can do this, you are worthy, and that's for a short time period. But yeah, like Rupa said, now with the kids, it's a little bit different. I won't be doing those things. I won't be, someone asked me to go to, to represent a client and it's more than, I don't know, a couple of hours. I would say, no, I'm not doing it. It's not worth my time. So, it's for a short time period. And that could be with Jim as well. And I did that with Jim. How about yourself? I mean, I know you've done it with a few things.
Yeah, and I think it's really important, guys, to also understand that a lot of pressure comes from society as well. And I can say that because I experienced it firsthand. Like this whole word balance, it comes from kind of being influenced by the people around us. And I know that I certainly, when I started in entrepreneurship and I moved over from like sort of corporate working life, working as a sales and events manager, then going on to running my own wedding planning business, and then trying to kind of grow an online business. My parents were always like, oh, you have to have a balance, do a little bit of everything. Don't just don't just focus mainly on one thing, do a bit of everything. And it used to make me feel like, okay, maybe that is what I should be doing. But I also remember hearing something from Kevin Trudeau, an absolute legend in this industry. And we love everything he says. And one thing really stood out for me. I remember when he said, if you look at the likes of people like Donald Trump, Bill Gates, all these people, yes, they have multiple things they're doing now, but they always had serious, insane focus on just a one thing. So don't feel like, oh, I'm just going to put my finger in this pie, that pie, and see what happens. You literally just have to go all in on one thing, like get it to the area or the point you want it to be at, and then move on to another thing. And so when I adapt that into my own life, I'm like, yeah, actually, I gave my wedding planning business all that I could give it for those 10 years I was doing it, and I needed a change. I went on to online business. I went on to learning trading. I gave it my all. When I had the kids, I gave that my all as well for the first 6 months, 6 months to 12 months, I would say at least, before I even traveled anywhere. And then again, you have to kind of figure out, right, where do I now need to put my time? So I think having the balanced life, and it depends where you want to see your success. It depends what you really want to get out of whatever it is you want to do in life. For me, I didn't want mediocre results. Both of us, we didn't want just to have average, mediocre results. We wanted to excel in whatever area we were trying to fulfill. And in order to excel in that area, you have to give it 110%, and then move on to something else. So,
That's right, and it can be for a certain time period. And that's what it is. I mean, even when, there was a point when I was going to gym every single day because of whatever, maybe the holiday coming up or something, and I want to look in a certain way. I want my body fat percentage to drop in a certain way or percentage. And,
Yeah.
you get criticized by other people. I remember my father-in-law was just, I was I dropped the kids and I was like, I'm going to go gym now. Gym, gym, gym. Oh, the gym. Look after your kids. And that hurt me a bit, but I was like, you know what? It's fine. And he's right.
He said it with love.
He said it with love,
but
yeah. So it wasn't out of
still
malice.
hurts.
Yeah, but I realized, remember that, and that, and examples like that. My own parents would say, or
Yeah.
my friends, oh, you're always doing cases. I could be, even to such a date now, to an extent where if I'm at a party and I don't need to be there, and there's a case or there's something I need to do in business, I'm going. Sorry.
Yeah.
Mrs. is here. She's got her own car. I make my own way.
Yeah.
It's still there. It's about prioritizing for me. And, children, you can never please everyone. Some people say to me, oh, you're always out doing gym and your business, that comes first, then your children come last. No, when I'm with my children, they come first. And I try as much as I can to be with the children. And for me, I just drop them to school now. I'm going to pick them up. I'm going to take them to swimming classes today. This week I'll take them to football. I put them to bedtime routine, but during the other 16 hours, I'll be at the gym. I'll be doing business, and I'm living life to, again, we live life to what we see fit. Of course, we make our own decisions, but I'm not saying we go overboard with it as well. We give time when it's needed. Sunday I'll go to my place of worship. I'll take the kids, and with mum and dad as well. I'll say, Mum, let's go to a restaurant. Actually, Mum's home today. She's making aloo parathe. If she wasn't making aloo parathe, maybe I'll say, Mum, let's go to a restaurant. Let's have a nice lunch somewhere. It's about now being in a position where we don't have to overdose on one area so harsh.
Yeah.
We can give it a little bit more time. But in the beginning, the first couple of years, you got to give it, all the time.
Yeah. And it's not the quantity, guys. Remember that. It's not like how much time you're giving it per se, because you could be giving something time, but it's not productive. It's not progressive towards what you want to get out of it, right? So it's the quality of the time. And like Vinay said, he may not be around as much as I am. Of course, it's different for mothers, for fathers, for different roles. But when he is with the kids, like, he's doing quality stuff with them. They're watching movies together. They're playing outside together. They're going on their bikes together. They're doing bedtime reading together. And that's the important thing. I could be like for hours and hours and hours with the kids, but I'm not doing anything with them. So that really makes a difference. So don't try and, I was going to say, don't trick yourself into thinking, oh, I am spending quality time doing this. You got to think about, is it actually quality or is it just the quantity? Is it the time? And it just brings me back to an old memory, actually, when we first started dating. I remember we were kind of going through this little bit of a conflict where I was, at a peak in my business, and Vinay was, doing well in his career in the law firm. And I was like, oh, every time I was with him, I'd be on my phone, and I couldn't help that. Remember these conversations we used to have? Yeah. And he said to me a few times, like, you're always on your phone. You're always on your phone every time I'm with you. And even then I used to think like, hey, I need to give this business my time. I need to go all in. And then I thought to myself, well, hang on, what about the feelings of other people around me? What about the feelings and thoughts of, the people that I care about, someone else that I want to build a relationship with and grow with? Like, I need to also consider to give that quality time as well. And so I accepted that, and that's the thing. You have to accept that if something needs to be changed in order for you to get the result you want, you've got to change it. You've got to drop your guard. You've got to let go of your ego and just say, right, let me change this and see if it works and see if it gives me better results. And, we figured it out. I would do all my cool stuff before meeting him. I would spend that quality time with him, not being distracted by my phone. And hey, there's no big emergency, things can wait. Like, nothing has to be like, oh my God, if I'm not there, the world's going to end. No. I used to feel like that, but it's not the case. So I think in this, maybe even leverage, that's a good thing, leveraging people around you as well in order for you to try and get a bit of a balance or get that quality time with your kids or with your spouse or at the gym. Like leverage who else can maybe support you and help you to get some sort of balance.
I think maybe leverage is not the right word when it comes to family, parents looking after children, but it's the concept is, if I'm we're going to be going gym or if we're going to go holiday, not even holiday, a business trip, and we have our parents looking after our children.
I think
I think
resources is
you're using your
a better
resources,
word.
but the bond that they create in that moment, in those
Yeah.
few days, or in that evening, if we're going to go out for an evening, is crucial. And I know, obviously I live with my parents, so my parents are always around with the little ones. But like, for example, Rupert's mum and dad, I would like to get, our children exposed to my in-laws as much as possible without being a burden. And yet there's a fine line. And the good thing is sometimes we get reminded by our siblings, by our cousin brothers or sisters or friends sometimes. Well, they might say a little comment here and there, which doesn't feel nice. But at the same time you think, well, it's not just the fact that, look after them and we can go and enjoy. No, it's about saying that, look, you know what? I want my mother-in-law, my mum, to be seen as the mum for both of them. There's no difference. If they get told off or they get chastised or they get encouraged or loved, it's equal. So I'm actually really proud to say that, our children, they don't have one mum or dad. They have three mums. They have three dads, because it's my dad and Rupert's dad and myself. We're all, and if they feel that love from both sides, I mean, it's just going to be a great harmony
Yeah.
in the household.
And the other thing is, like, we're not doing it for ourselves. We're not doing it just for me, Vinny, and the kids. We're doing it for the parents. We're doing it for the grandparents. We're doing it for extended family. Like, everything we're doing in business, with, trying to fulfill our dreams, we're doing it for the best of, like, just having generational wealth, just having a better life for everyone. We're trying to achieve whatever we can so that everybody around us can also reap the rewards and enjoy it. So, and I think they understand that. They really do. They know this is why we're doing it.
That's why we have a great relationship with our families, and we go holidays together as well. There's one actually coming up. All of us are going to go on a cruise, children, like 65 of us, on our 10-year wedding anniversary. I'd love to invite you guys, but of course, as you can imagine, it might be a bit...
He wanted to have an open invite, and I was like, no, we can't open it to the whole world.
Maybe in due course.
Let's keep it small and intimate. 60 people only.
65, numbers growing.
Yeah.
But having said that, I think we can wrap this up now, unless there's anything else we want to mention about
No.
having a balanced life. Just to summarize, a balanced life, yes, it's a good thing, but I don't think that can be for all time. There's going to be a period where your children are going to have most of your time.
Yeah.
There's going to be a period where your business has to have most of your time if you want it to be successful. If you just want to get by, that's different. If you just want to get by, then give a little bit of time to everything. But to get insane results, that's going to take some insane amount of focus. And it's going to be imbalanced. And unfortunately, that is the way it is. But do you know what? When you're doing it, it's enjoyable. Because you're going for your goal and your dream. You're not doing it because, you have to. You're getting pulled towards it rather than pushed.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say, ladies and gents, we would love to hear your comments, your thoughts on this topic. Let us know your experiences. And we love to learn from you. Just as much as you may take something away from us, we love to just learn from what you guys think and what you go through. So thank you all. And until next time.